Valley Club December is here, and we have a brand new promo code for new players. This one will get you a great start in Raid Shadow Legends. I want to show you how a lot of these champs synergize, and if you're ready to see it, you know what to do, Valley Club. Find that like button, and let's go smash it. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin Raid channel. I'm ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having an excellent day. And if you're looking to start up a second account, or maybe get one of your buddies to start Raid Shadow Legends, start playing with you, maybe joining your clan, well, this is going to be a great video for you because Raid, they gave me an option for a brand new code and let me choose some of the starter champs. So I'm going to talk about which champs I chose and why I chose them. If you get some value from the video today, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell so you know as soon as a brand new Raid Shadow Legends video goes up. But let's jump into the game because it is a great time to start playing Raid Shadow Legends. One of the reasons is because of this guy, the Xenomorph. This is a great damage dealer, deals poison damage, and you get him for free just by logging in. But if you use the QR code up in the description there, or the link in the description to start up your account, you're going to start off with 3 great legendaries, including the Xenomorph. You're going to get him after 7 days. You're also going to get Narma. She is a great poison damage dealer, synergizing very well with the Xenomorph. And you also get one more champ. Now, you get to choose one of these champs. Desert Queen is the one that I'm recommending for this. However, if you want to go a totally different direction with your account, I chose Sun Wukong with the Monkey King code. He is a great damage dealer for PvP content. He has some unique effects there. So if you're a little more interested in Arena and not as interested in progressing in other games, maybe you go with Sun Wukong. If you want one of the best tanks in the game, UD King, the code gets you Ultimate Death Knight. But we're gonna go with Harak on this one because I think she offers a lot of value for the champs that we chose. So let's talk about the legendary champs that were options here. So I did end up choosing Narma because of the poison that she deals and the synergization with the Xenomorph. But we also had some other options. We could have still went with Corrado. He's been the login legendary for a while. But he's a good champ, but doesn't have as much synergy with the Xenomorph. The other one that we could have chosen was a high elf, Alure. She does have some poison combustion, so she can help to destroy the poisons that we got from the Xenomorph, but we chose a better poison combustor in Narma. And let's go look at Narma's kit. See why she is such a great start. Now, she's known throughout the community as Narma the Librarian. Let me clear this off so we can see some of this other stuff here. The reason for that is because she takes a lot of books to level her up. 7 books to get her full ability here on her A3. 7 books to get her full abilities on her A2, and then 5 levels of her A1. So it's very costly champion in terms of legendary skill tomes. But in the beginning part of the game, you could get by with a lot of this, just a normal skill. She has a great moveset synergizing with the Xenomorph. Her passive, when an ally is attacked, 25% chance of placing a poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. Whenever this champion is attacked, this chance increases by 50%. So she's just going to deal some passive poisons to the enemies. Enemies under poison debuffs inflict 5% less damage per each poison debuff on them, stacks up to 25%. So between the poisons that you're getting from Narma, the Xenomorph, there could be a lot of poisons on the enemy team, which is helping your survivability. There are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. So moving on to her A3, she's going to attack one enemy, 75% chance of placing not 1, not 2, but 3 5% poison debuffs and a 25% poison sensitivity debuff for 3 turns. Initial target is already under 3 or more debuffs, places 3 poison debuffs and a 25% poison sensitivity on all enemies for 3 turns instead. So yeah, if you already have some poisons on them, maybe from the Xenomorph, you're gonna go poisons, 3 poisons and a poison sensitivity for 3 turns on all the targets. So very strong, especially with that synergization with the Xenomorph. The A2 is gonna attack one enemy, 75% chance of placing a decreased attack for 3 turns, 75% chance of placing a leech on all enemies for 2 turns, then instantly activates all the poison debuffs on all the enemies. The reason this is important is because your enemies, they can only have a maximum of 10 debuffs. So if you have too many poison damage dealers or too many poisons on the enemies, you're not going to stick the rest of your debuffs. So activating these poison debuffs, Eleanor does that on her A1. She does this on her A2. It is a 5-turn cooldown, and it's going to be a 5-turn cooldown until you get a lot of books into her. So this is a good move. Also, in addition to that, heals all allies by 25% of this champion's max HP, which is important. A lot of the heals involve the HP of the heal target. Well, this is this champion's max HP. So if you build her with a lot of accuracy, a lot of health, well, she's going to be giving a big heal to all of your allies. And the A1 attacks one enemy, 50% chance of increasing duration of all debuffs on the target by 1 turn. Damage is based on attack. Really want a lot of accuracy with this character, but she's a great starter champion. Before we get to Hanorak, I do want to circle around to the Xenomorph, because that's kind of what I based the code selection around, and the poisons that he offers. When you move on to his passive, whenever this champion is attacked, 25% chance of placing a 25% poison debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. The attack is critical. So if you have Narma on the team, she has the ability to place some poison debuffs when her allies are attacked. Well, he also does this if he is attacked. So lots of poisons on the enemy. Enemy is under a poison debuff placed by this champion, decreases their defense by 20%, which means that all of your allies are going to do more damage to the enemy that's under poison if the Xenomorph places it. Doesn't count if Narma places that poison debuff. The A3 is going to attack one enemy 2 times, 15% more damage for each poison debuff on the target, and there could be a lot of damage on this move, combined with Narma and the passive of the Xenomorph. Also place a perfect veil on buff on this champion for 2 turns. The damage is based on attack. This is the big one here. The Infestation attacks one enemy before attacking, place a stun debuff and an infest debuff on the target for 2 turns. This is a new debuff unique to the Xenomorph. If we look at what this is, whenever a champion under infest debuff dies, deals pure damage to all alive enemies. This pure damage is equal to 50% of the enemy's max HP who died while under the infest debuff. So yeah, if they die, especially if they have a lot of HP, they're gonna be doing a lot of damage to the enemy allies. This pure damage cannot be critical. The pure damage is dealt upon killing a boss or the minion, cannot exceed more than 10% of their max health. So there is a damage cap to this one with bosses there. The rest of the skill reads, these debuffs cannot be resisted. This champion is under a perfect veil debuff, which he would get from the A3. If you're doing this in order, place a true fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. This debuff cannot be resisted if this champion is under a perfect veil debuff. True fear is very debilitating, kind of locks out a lot of your moves that you can potentially use. Passive effect revives this champion, 50% HP, 50% turn meter whenever enemy under infest debuff dies. So if you get this infest, spread it around to a lot of the other enemies, which Hanorak is capable of doing. Well, it doesn't matter if the Xenomorph dies, because he's just going to come back to life if infest enemy dies. The A1 attacks one enemy, place a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns, places 3 5% poison debuffs if this attack is critical. So building him with some crit rate is pretty important. Also, perfect veil on buff on this champion for 2 turns. So great start. You're gonna get Narma. After 7 days, you'll get Xenomorph, but right on day 1, if you use this code, you should get Hanorak. Now, she is a Void Legendary, which means that your chance of pulling her from Void Shards down the road is a little bit more reduced than some other Legendary champs that you should get from Sacred Shards and Ancient Shards, things like that. So, Hanorak, why is she so good? Well, she's going to remove a random debuff from all allies at the start of each turn. So the faster she is, the more faster she's going to get her turns, the more debuffs she can remove from your allies. Removes 2 random debuffs instead from allies under continuous heal debuffs. So she places her continuous heal. She's going to remove 2 debuffs from them. All right. She's also her A3, increased defense, 60% increased defense, 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns. This is a great booster, especially for clan boss. This is the great synergy with the Xenomorph. Attacks one enemy, 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff, and a block buffs debuff for 2 turns. Also applies this one, debuff spread effect, taking 2 random debuffs from the target and placing them on all enemies. So this one is random, but you know, hopefully it's that infest debuff that gets spread to all enemies. This could be very good for wave content. And the A1 attacks one enemy, 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns. Also, here's where the continuous heals come from. Continuous heal buff on this champion for 1 turn, and a continuous heal buff on the ally with the lowest HP. The damage for her is based on defense. So those are the legendary champs. Now, there's a lot of epic champs I had to choose from for this code. I chose the ones that I thought were the best overall champs, give you a lot of value in multiple areas. However, one of my buddies looking at champs said, hey, This is a better way to go. This is going to get you off to a better start. I went a little bit against that because I thought these champs were a little more appealing for later game, but we'll cover in a future video the champs that he chose, and we may have that code. We will have that code for January, and then you guys could choose either one or the other. But the champs that I chose for this are champs that I thought were really, really good. So the first champ that you're going to get Uugo at level 10. So pretty much right on day one as well, you're going to get Uugo. Now, when I started, I did not have, Uugo was my starter champ. There was no legendary options when I started, so Uugo was my starter champ. You're gonna get Narma, and then pretty much on day one, you're gonna get Uugo, and then you're gonna get Hanorok as well. And after 7 days, you're gonna get that Xenomorph. You're probably gonna get all of these other champs before you get the Xenomorph within the 7 days. But Uugo, she was a great start to my account, and that's why I wanted to include her in this code. Now, she was great in Arena because of this. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a decreased defense debuff for 2 turns. This is very valuable. It allows a lot of your attackers to do more damage to the enemies. This block buffs is really important for Hydra. Now, Hydra is not a mode that you're going to get to early game, but it is an area that I'm in right now, and Uugo is one of my most important champs because initially, she and Sun Wukong were the only champs that had block buffs on their skills. So the chance of placing block debuffs, block buffs debuff increases by 5% for each alive enemy. So yeah, this is a great move, and you're going to use this in late game content as well. This is a great emergency revive. This doesn't seem to proc a lot, but I remember when I was first starting, especially in Arena, Uugo would be the last one surviving, and she'd bring the whole team back. So you do have a remove all heal reduction debuff from all allies. It was a random debuff, so you have a cleanse with her as well. Then you're gonna get a heal. 20% of this champion's max HP. Now this next part is probably not ideal, and it usually means that you're kind of getting screwed up, but it saved me a lot of battles early on. So if all allies are dead, you're gonna revive them with 50% HP, fills our turn meters by 50% instead. So yes, that is a good one. Now, this one, place a 30% increased speed and a block damage buff on this champion whenever this champion is the last living ally alive. So she's the last one alive. She's gonna get increased speed on block damage. So as long as she can take a turn, if this is not off of cooldown, she will revive all the enemies. So playing early Arena, you may want to hold off on this one, even if it has the heal. Try to get the enemy, your allies to die so that she could just revive all of them. The A1 attacks one enemy, 5% chance of placing a leash debuff for 2 turns, can increases 5% for each alive enemy. Damage is based on attack. So that is a champ that I chose for level 10. Now at level 20, you're gonna get one of the best epic revivers in the game. I know on some of my previous accounts, I've had like 3 or 4 previous accounts that I played, I was very unlucky and did not have a reviver on the team, and it was a struggle in the beginning. So you're gonna get a Tagoar right at level 20, which if you play really hard, you could reach that on day 1 as well. Great reviver, revives all dead allies, 30% HP, also places the shield buff on all allies equal to 20% of this chest's max HP. That is for 2 turns. She will place that shield, or he will place that shield, whether any allies gets revived or not. So that you might want to use this depending on the cooldown. It is a 5-turn cooldown when you fully book Tagoar, so you may want to save this, or you may need that shield on them. All right, attacks all enemies on the A2, place a 30% increased speed buff on all allies for 2 turns, and heals all allies by 15% of this champion's max HP. The damage is based on attack, so you get a speed buff and you get a heal on the A2. The A1 attacks one enemy 2 times, place a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns on the ally with the lowest current HP. So that is another good one as well. Attacks and places some protection on the allies. The passive decrease the damage received by allies with 50% HP or less by 10%. So your allies are dying while Uugo is Tagoar gonna try to keep them alive a little longer. So you're gonna get Tagoar level 20. This is one of the best, like I said, epic revivers in the game. There's a few others that are really good, but Tagoar is in that conversation. Now for the last champ, could have decided to go a few different ways. Venomage was probably the best champ overall that I could have chosen, but I thought that would be a little too many poisons with Narma and the Xenomorph, so hold off on Venomage. We might have him in a future code, but other champs that I had on previous codes, Mausoleum Mage was an option, Fane was an option, Zargala was an option, but we went with this champ, Alure. This was a new champ that we had to choose, and I guess I'm a little biased towards Alure because I wanted her for so long, and we just got her, and it was a champ that I was missing for a while. Didn't really have a lot of demons spawn in our game, but really it is all about her A1. Her A2 and her A3 are okay. A lot of times you're going to disable that in battle, though. This is very, very strong A1, which also means that you need no books for her. Her damage increasing is okay, but really what you want: attacks 3 times at random, decrease the target's turn meter by 25% on each critical hit. So you build her with a lot of accuracy, a lot of speed, and a lot of crit rate, and she's just gonna be a turn meter decrease. This is gonna be great for early Fire Knight. Like I said, we could have went a few different ways, but we chose Alure. So those are the champs you're gonna get, guys. You're gonna get Narma right away. You're gonna get 2 Hanorak right away. You get 3 great epics, and then after 7 days, you get that Xenomorph. And then after you continue to get through phase 2, you're gonna get that 5-star Perfect Soul as well, which will allow you to use Brimstone, which will allow him to do big damage. Great start to clan boss with these champs as well, guys. But like I said, one of my buddies, he said, you know what? These are not the best champs you could have chose from. So we're gonna talk about those and then probably feature that code in January, so you could choose either one, whatever way that you want to start. Hopefully you did get some value from the video today. And if you did, leave the video a like, check me out on social media, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Check out some of the other videos on the channel. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out.